Few love stories in Hollywood have ever reached the depth, grace, and beauty of Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman's marriage. Their story wasn't built on scandals or publicity stunts, but on mutual respect, deep admiration, and unbreakable trust. When they first met, both were talented actors with bright futures. Yet, what started as a professional connection on the set of Picnic turned into one of Hollywood's most admired romances. Joanne, known for her elegance and quiet confidence, brought calm and wisdom into Paul's life, while Paul, with his charm and playful nature, brought warmth and laughter into hers. For decades they seemed unshakable, proof that love could last even under the bright, often cruel lights of fame. Now, at 95, Joanne has finally broken her silence, sharing rare memories about her late husband that remind the world why their story still matters. Their first meeting was almost cinematic. In 1953, Paul Newman was still married to his first wife, Jackie Whitty, and Joanne Woodward was a young actress just beginning her career. Despite the instant connection they felt, both tried to remain professional. Joanne once said that she found Paul too good-looking, almost unreal. He, on the other hand, was immediately drawn to her intelligence and independence. Unlike many women he had met, Joanne wasn't impressed by his movie star looks. That difference fascinated him. Over the next few years, their friendship grew deeper. They worked together again on The Long, Hot Summer, 1958, where their chemistry on screen became undeniable. Soon after, Paul divorced Jackie and married Joanne. Their union wasn't just about passion. It was built on honesty, sacrifice, and commitment to building a life away from the chaos of Hollywood. Joanne and Paul married in 1958, and from that day on, they became inseparable. While other celebrity couples fought for attention, the Newmans preferred to stay out of gossip columns. They moved to Connecticut, far from Los Angeles, to raise their 3 daughters in a quieter, more grounded environment. This move shocked many people, but it was exactly what kept their love alive. Joanne always believed that real success came from having a balanced family life, not just fame and awards. Paul supported that vision completely. He often said that Joanne made him a better man, one who never forgot his roots. Their marriage lasted 50 years, a record in Hollywood where relationships often fall apart in months. They built a partnership that was real, filled with laughter, challenges, and deep affection. At 95, Joanne looks back on those years with gratitude, calling them the happiest of her life. When people asked Paul Newman about the secret to his lasting marriage, he gave one of the most famous quotes in Hollywood history. "Why go out for a hamburger when you have steak at home?" It was his playful way of saying that he never had to look elsewhere because Joanne was everything he could ever want. But behind the humor was something deeper. Both Paul and Joanne valued loyalty, respect, and friendship. They didn't try to be perfect. Instead, they supported each other through imperfections. Joanne once said that marriage is not about never fighting. It's about fighting together, not against each other. They argued, they disagreed, but they always found their way back. Their bond wasn't about movie glamour. It was about 2 real people choosing each other every single day, even when life wasn't easy. That choice became the foundation of their extraordinary love story. Joanne Woodward was not just Paul Newman's wife. She was an Oscar-winning actress and one of the most respected women in film. But after marriage, she often stepped back from Hollywood to raise their children and support Paul's growing career. Many people wondered why she did it, but Joanne never regretted her choice. She believed success was not only measured in fame, but in how much love you gave to your family. Still, she never gave up her passion for acting. She continued to take powerful roles in films like The 3 Faces of Eve, which won her the Academy Award for Best Actress. Paul, in turn, always admired her talent, and often said she was the better actor between the 2 of them. They worked together on several films, not just as co-stars, but as true creative partners. Even after decades, their chemistry remained as natural as ever. Beyond Hollywood, Paul and Joanne became known for their remarkable charity work. In 1982, Paul started Newman's Own, a food company that donates 100% of its profits to charity. Joanne was deeply involved in these efforts, helping him choose causes that focused on children, education, and the environment. Together, they raised over $500 million for people in need. For them, giving back was not a publicity stunt, it was a moral duty. Joanne often said that real happiness came from helping others. Even after Paul's passing in 2008, his foundation continued to grow, carrying forward the values they shared. Joanne's silence all these years wasn't because she forgot. It was because she preferred action over words. But recently, as she opened up about her husband's memory, she made it clear that his spirit of kindness and generosity still lives. Paul Newman passed away in 2008 at the age of 83 after battling lung cancer. His death left Joanne heartbroken. For more than 5 decades, they had been partners in every sense of the word. Losing him meant losing her best friend and life companion. Joanne chose to stay quiet during the following years, avoiding public interviews and appearances. She focused on her family and her health, keeping Paul's memory alive through their children and grandchildren. Friends close to her said that even though she rarely spoke about her grief, her love for Paul never faded. She still kept his photos around the house and often watched old movies they made together. Now, at 95, Joanne has finally broken her silence, not with sadness, but with peace. She said, "I still feel him near me. He was my home." Those words touched millions who still believe in love like theirs. In recent years, Joanne Woodward has faced health challenges, including memory loss and the effects of aging. Yet, even in her 90s, she remains strong and graceful. She lives a quiet life in Connecticut, surrounded by her family and caretakers who adore her. Her daughters, Nell, Melissa, and Clea, continue to honor both their parents' legacies. They often speak about the lessons they learned from them: humility, kindness, and the importance of family. Joanne's days are now peaceful, filled with memories of a life well lived. Though she no longer acts, her influence remains powerful in Hollywood and beyond. Younger generations of actors still look up to her, not only for her talent but for the dignity and grace with which she carried herself. Breaking her silence about Paul wasn't about reliving the past. It was her way of celebrating a love that never truly ended. After Paul's death, their daughters found boxes of letters, handwritten notes, and photos that captured their private world. Many of these letters were exchanged when they were apart during film shoots. They revealed the depth of their connection, full of humor, passion, and everyday affection. In one letter, Paul wrote, "I am only truly alive when you are near." Joanne, too, kept diaries where she wrote about their shared dreams and challenges. Recently, parts of these memories were shared in the documentary The Last Movie Stars, giving the world a rare glimpse into their real relationship. Joanne's decision to allow these private stories to be told showed how deeply she trusted that Paul's memory would be treated with love. These letters reminded everyone that behind the fame were two human beings who truly loved, supported, and understood each other in ways few ever do. While many people see Paul and Joanne as the perfect couple, Joanne has often admitted that their relationship had ups and downs. There were times when Paul's fame created tension, and there were moments of exhaustion from balancing work, family, and public life. Yet, through it all, they never gave up on each other. Joanne once said, "You can fall in and out of love with the same person, but if you respect them, you'll always find your way back." That was their secret. Not perfection, but patience. They saw marriage not as a fairy tale, but as teamwork. Their success wasn't about avoiding struggles. It was about facing them hand in hand. As Joanne reflects now, she says the greatest thing Paul ever gave her wasn't fame or luxury. It was the feeling of being truly loved for who she was, not for who the world wanted her to be. Even after Paul's passing, Joanne often described feeling his presence. She believed their souls were still connected. Their love, she said, wasn't limited by time or distance. It was something spiritual, something that continues even beyond life itself. She once said, "Paul was my heart, and he still is." For her, their bond was never about the fame, but about shared laughter, simple dinners at home, long drives, and quiet nights with their children. These small moments meant more than any red carpet or award. Today, fans around the world still admire their relationship as a symbol of real, lasting love. Joanne's silence for so many years wasn't because she wanted to hide. She was protecting something sacred. But now, by speaking openly, she's letting the world see the truth, that her story with Paul Newman was not just a Hollywood romance. Many people see Joanne and Paul's life as perfect, but few know about the quiet struggles that tested their marriage. In the early years, Paul's fame grew rapidly after movies like Cat on a Hot Tin Roof and The Hustler. He became one of the most desired men in the world, and Hollywood temptation was everywhere. Joanne admitted that being married to a movie star was not always easy. Yet, instead of jealousy or insecurity, she responded with quiet strength. She trusted Paul completely, and he never gave her a reason to doubt that trust. He once said in an interview, "People don't understand. Joanne isn't just my wife. She's my center." That honesty, that open communication was what kept them strong. They never let fame destroy what they had, and that made them different from most couples in the industry. Behind the romance was an even stronger foundation: friendship. Joanne and Paul truly enjoyed each other's company. They laughed together constantly, sometimes about the smallest things. They could be silly, teasing, and childlike, but always caring. Their friends often said that when Paul entered a room, he looked for Joanne first. If she wasn't there, he wasn't fully himself. They had their own language, little jokes and expressions that no one else understood. This friendship made their love deeper than attraction or passion. They respected each other's individuality and never tried to control one another. Joanne encouraged Paul's love for car racing, even though it frightened her. Paul, in return, supported Joanne's love for the arts and education. Their friendship wasn't just romantic. It was rooted in understanding, shared dreams, and the ability to laugh even when life felt heavy. Throughout her career, Joanne faced the challenge of being overshadowed by her husband's fame. While Paul Newman was constantly in headlines, Joanne quietly continued to deliver some of her best performances. She never complained about being Mrs. Newman, even though she had every right to demand recognition for her own accomplishments. Instead, she chose dignity over attention. She once said, "I never saw our careers as a competition. We were two actors who happened to be married." That maturity showed her strength. She didn't chase fame, she let her work speak for itself. Joanne was known for playing women with complexity, intelligence, and emotional depth. In many ways, her real life mirrored those roles. Even now, at 95, her calm spirit and quiet dignity remind people that true power doesn't need to shout. It simply shines. Paul Newman was not only a brilliant actor, he was a devoted husband who showed his love in thoughtful ways. Joanne once revealed that Paul often wrote her love letters. Even after decades of marriage, he would leave small notes for her around the house, on the refrigerator, on the mirror, or tucked inside a book. These letters weren't grand or poetic. They were simple words of love, humor, and gratitude. "Miss you already?" Or, "Thank you for my life." Those small gestures meant everything to Joanne. They reminded her that even with all the fame and fortune, the most important thing Paul ever gave her was his heart. Their children later said that the love between their parents set a standard for what real commitment looks like. Paul didn't just say he loved her, he showed it every single day. As the years went on, Paul and Joanne became more than just a couple. They became partners in every sense of the word. They acted together, produced films, and supported each other's dreams. They also shared strong political and social values. Both were known for standing up for human rights, supporting civil rights movements, and fighting for equality. Joanne was especially proud of Paul's activism and his belief in using fame to make a difference. Together, they showed the world that celebrity power could be used for good. Paul often said that Joanne kept him grounded, that without her, he might have lost himself to the Hollywood lifestyle. She was his conscience, his anchor, and his home. Even now, people see their relationship as a model of how two people can grow together, evolve together, and still hold on to love through it all. For Joanne and Paul, family was the true center of their world. They raised 3 daughters together, Nell, Melissa, and Clea. And Paul had 2 other children from his first marriage. Despite their fame, they made sure their kids lived as normal a life as possible. They taught them the value of humility, honesty, and hard work. Their daughters remember their parents as loving but strict, with strong morals and endless affection. Joanne would cook, help with homework, and even volunteer at school events, just like any other mom. Paul, despite his busy schedule, made time for family dinners and vacations. Their children often say that what made their parents so special was how real they were. They didn't live like celebrities. They lived like a family built on respect and love. That's why, even decades later, the Newman Woodward home remains a symbol of warmth and togetherness. When Paul fell ill with cancer, Joanne never left his side. She cared for him through his final months, protecting his dignity and keeping his spirits high. Those who knew them said she was his strength until the very end. Paul's passing in 2008 was a heartbreak that words could hardly describe. Joanne withdrew from public life afterward, choosing to grieve in private. She found comfort in her family, in their memories, and in the life they had built together. In one rare comment she said, "We had a full life. I wouldn't change a thing." Her quiet